The Billionaire's Wife Revenge. The cold night breeze brushed against my skin as I stood outside a luxurious bar in the middle of the city. I should have been at home, waiting for my husband Frank to return. But here I was, watching him from a distance, holding hands with another woman. They looked happy together. The smile on his face, one I hadn't seen in a long time when he was with me, was undeniable. It hurt. It hurt so much. But instead of storming in to confront him, I forced myself to smile, hiding the pain deep inside my chest, and pretended I had seen nothing. That night, when he came home, I did what I always did. I played the role of the loving wife, greeting him with a warm smile. "Hon, how was work?" I asked, helping him take off his coat.
It was fine."
He answered curtly, not even sparing me a glance. He walked straight to the bedroom without kissing me on the cheek, something he used to do when we were newlyweds. I followed him with a smile, even though inside I was breaking apart. In the days that followed, I continued playing the game. Whenever he came home, I welcomed him with a warm meal and sweet words, even though I knew he no longer cared. I turned a blind eye. I convinced myself that I could fight for a marriage that only I wanted to save. But on our anniversary, I finally realized the truth. He no longer loved me. I carefully placed the cake in the center of the table, beside Frank's favorite dishes. I decorated the dining area, making sure everything was perfect. Maybe, just maybe, he would change his mind. Maybe he would remember how much we once loved each other. But when he arrived, he barely even looked at what I had prepared. His phone rang. He answered it immediately, and I saw how his face lit up.
"Yes, I'll be there.
"Frank, where are you going?"
I have something to take care of.
"Tonight, but it's our anniversary."
It's important, okay? I have to go."
Before I could stop him, he grabbed his coat and walked out, leaving me alone in front of a dinner he would never taste. As I stared at the candle in the middle of the table, the hope I had been clinging to for so long finally vanished. I could no longer fight for a man who didn't value me. That night, I made a decision. I was leaving. The next morning, I called my father. "Dad, I want to come home."
"Janna, my daughter, I've been waiting for you to say that. Come back, sweetheart. We're here, waiting for you."
For the first time in a long while, a real smile formed on my lips. I still had a home to return to. To avoid suspicion, I pretended to be sick for the next few days. It was a simple excuse that allowed me to gradually pack my belongings. But no matter what I did, Frank didn't notice. He never even asked how I was. "Frank, I feel sick and dizzy. Please help me, Frank." I called out weakly, lying on the bed with my hand on my forehead, feigning dizziness. But instead of checking on me, he sighed in annoyance and said,
"Janna, stop being dramatic."
He didn't even look at me. That was the moment I knew. I didn't need another reason to leave. I closed my eyes, swallowing the pain in my heart. This was it. Tomorrow I was leaving, and I wouldn't look back. I signed the divorce papers and left them on the table. I didn't hesitate. When I walked out of the mansion that I once called home, I didn't turn back to look at the man I had once loved. I didn't say goodbye. No more tears. No more pain. All that remained in my heart was determination. As the door closed behind me, I also closed a chapter of my life. I headed straight to the airport where my father was waiting for me. As soon as he saw me, he pulled me into a tight embrace.
"You made the right decision, sweetheart."
I smiled, but deep inside I was sure of only one thing. I would never be weak again. 4 years passed, and I was no longer the same woman who left that mansion. The woman who had been mistreated, ignored, and silenced. Now, I was someone new. My father taught me to be strong and fearless in facing life. I changed the way I dressed, the way I carried myself. I was no longer the timid wife who waited for love that would never return. I stepped back into the business world, embraced my role as my father's heir, and within a few years, I proved myself. I became Janna Montereal, the new CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company, a woman who would never be trampled on again. And now, it was time for him to see who I had become. At a grand business gala, where the biggest names in the industry had gathered, I walked into the venue with my head held high, radiating confidence. I wore an elegant black gown, and every step I took commanded attention. All eyes were on me, not as someone's wife, but as a woman with her own power and name. And in the crowd I saw him, my past, Frank. The entire hall fell silent as my father, Janna Montereal, the billionaire titan of the industry, stood on stage, holding a microphone. His mere presence commanded respect. But when he spoke my name, the silence was replaced by thunderous applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my only daughter, my successor, Janna Montereal.
I took a deep breath and stepped onto the stage. With every step, I felt the weight of the gazes on me. This wasn't just an introduction. It was a declaration of my return. I smiled, but not for him. It was for me. For the woman who fought, who rose, and who would never be weak again. Thank you, Dad, and thank you all for welcoming me. I have so much more to show you, and this is just the beginning. The crowd erupted into applause once more, but I didn't need their approval to know the truth. I was Janna Montereal, and no one could bring me down again. Frank nearly dropped his glass when he saw me. He couldn't believe it. And standing beside him was the woman he had chosen over me, clinging to his arm like a trophy. I smiled sweetly, but my eyes were cold. I walked past him, straight to the VIP table where the most powerful business leaders sat.
Janna, can we talk?
Do we still have anything left to talk about?
I made a mistake and I'm sorry.
It's too late, Frank. We've been divorced for a long time, I said bluntly, then glanced at the woman beside him. Looks like you got what you wanted. And with that, I walked away, never looking back. The day came when I had a meeting with a company. When I heard the name of their company, I immediately raised an eyebrow. Frank's company. And now, here he was, sitting in front of me, not as my husband, but as a businessman in need of my help. I crossed my arms and leaned back slightly. So, you're asking Montereal Corporation to invest a significant amount of money into your company? Interesting.
Yes, Miss Montereal. Our company has been growing steadily, and with your support, we can expand even further. I assure you, this is a partnership that will benefit both parties.
One of my board members cleared his throat.
Miss Montereal, do you have any thoughts on their proposal?
The room fell silent as I stood and looked directly at Frank. I have made my decision, I said in a calm but firm voice. And my answer is simple. I am rejecting your proposal. Frank's business partners all looked up at me at once, shock and confusion evident on their faces.
Wait, Miss Montereal, may I ask why? Our proposal is solid.
I'm not questioning the numbers, I interrupted, my gaze still locked on Frank. I just don't see the value in partnering with a company that lacks integrity. I'm rejecting this partnership outright. This meeting is over.
Janna, please.
You had your chance, Frank, and you wasted it. In front of everyone, I left him standing there, head bowed in humiliation. As I walked out of the building, I hurriedly checked my schedule and failed to notice the man in front of me. We collided, and I nearly lost my balance. But before I could fall, a strong arm caught me. I looked up and was met with the sight of a handsome man in an expensive suit. His presence exuded authority, yet there was a surprising warmth in his eyes.
Miss, are you okay?
Yes, I'm sorry.
By the way, I'm Kevin.
He extended his hand, and for some inexplicable reason, there was an undeniable connection between us. Kevin Sandoval? So, you're the one I'm meeting with today, right?
Yes, nice meeting you.
He replied with a smile. Our eyes met, and in that instant, It felt as if an invisible thread had connected us. A new chapter in my life had begun. And for the first time, I felt it. The true meaning of love. This was the start of my new story.